Hello everyone and welcome to my World Literature video project for our Injustice unit in World Literature. Stepping off of a ceremony, let's get right into it. There is objective justice and subjective justice in this world, some of it helpful and some of it harmful. One justice issue right now is the growing issue of stamping out people's freedoms of speech, which is an inalienable right that guides our world forward. Without it, we will stagnate as a society. This justice issue that has plagued our world for millennia is rearing its ugly head right now. There are many societies around the world that are trying to stamp out our freedom of speech. Without speech, we are just violent animals that kill each other to get what we want. When someone wins in anything, there is a loser. If we do not have lines of dialogue, then we will stagnate and die off because we cannot formulate our ideas critically. Control of speech is happening in many parts of the world. The most extreme examples, no surprise, Russia, North Korea, and the Islamic world. I am focusing on Saudi Arabia, which is my country of study. The most recent event that happened in October of this year when Jamal Khashoggi was killed in Turkey. Most sources say that he was dismembered. He was a journalist who worked for the mainstream Saudi newspaper and the Washington Post. He was killed under very suspicious circumstances. There is a group of Saudis who are under interrogation as the prime suspects. It is very likely that they were hired by the Saudi government and they may or may not have been Saudi secret police or religious police. As we can see, there is a penalty for dishonoring the Saudi system of governance. Apostasy is a law that allows the Saudis to do this to people. For all intents and purposes, it is blasphemy, which of course means the death penalty. In 2017 alone, there were 146 executions. For reference, the U.S. has about 60 to 80 capital punishments. In Saudi Arabia, however, mostly for speaking out against Islam or the government, such as the previous case, also thievery is punishable by death. The usual punishment is usually beheading by the use of scimitar, which you can see on screen, or sometimes a firing squad. Hanging is used sparingly. All of these punishments are used for speaking one's own mind. If you want to know about how low humanity can stoop, Karl Penzram is worth a look. And he was killed for capital punishment in 1932 by the USA. Very worth a look. Alright, more free speech about Saudi Arabia. The Mahabahith. I'm going to try that again. Mabahith are the secret religious police for the Saudi government. Air quotes. Saudi Arabia is suspected of having groomed a Saudi employee at Twitter to help the country's leadership by spying on the accounts of dissidents, according to a news report. The Saudis have created Twitter bots and hired people for $3,000 a month to spread pro-Saudi propaganda on Twitter. As we can see, the Saudi government loves how they are able to talk freely about how amazing they are, but they are not very good at taking criticism. Many social media platforms went into a storm once Ashraf Faidia was sentenced to hanging for publishing his books of poems, some of which were criticizing and critiquing the Saudi government. His lawyer was able to convince the court to not hang him. He was instead sentenced to 8 years in prison and 800 lashings to be carried over 16 occasions. Then this ruling was overturned by a new judge. This one sentenced him to death by beheading, which led to an international outcry, which led to the court reversing their decision again to the previous 8 years in prison and 800 lashings. These laws are enforced by some religious scholars in the Islamic culture, a gathering place for every clown and corrupter who posts tweets that are illegitimate, false, and wrong. Grand Mufti Abdul Aziz ibn Abdullah al-Shaki. That is all one name. He is the country's most senior and influential religious leader. His comments about Twitter and social media, little bit narcissistic and hypocritical. He was speaking out against his own government by saying those words. As you can see, the Saudis are very strict and ruthless when it comes to how their laws are implemented and their punishments for breaking those laws. I hope this reflection on the world gets you to respect and appreciate how free you are in the United States, and not like the Soviet Union. I'm looking at you, Stalin. How can this glaring issue be rectified? Well, we are going along the path to do just that. President Trump has grown very skeptical over the Crown Prince. Twitter loves to troll the Saudi government with hashtag #SueMeSaudiArabia, which started when a Twitter user was sued by the Saudis for posting anti-Wahhabi administrative posts. Backlash against many controversial decisions has proven to work with the Saudi Wahhabi regime. Always remember that you can make a difference. Seeking the objective truth and speaking out against injustice is how our world will move forward. Do not hide from the truth, for it will surely find you. Use this to your advantage. Always seek self-improvement. You will lead other people along with you. Remember to talk to other people to grow as an intellectual. This is what freedom of speech is all about. Justice in the world will come about if, and only if, we can talk about it. Thank you for joining me about engaging in our own freedom of speech and growing our own intellectual horizons. Thanks for watching. Don't get stressed too much.